Hi friends! So today I'm just gonna do a quick get ready with me, but I have a bunch of new products that I've gotten over the past month or so while shopping at home in quarantine. Lots of fun. So I have my little basket of goodies here, and then it's almost enough for a full face. So I have just a couple of other things kind of here just to kind of finish all of that off. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump into it really quick. We're gonna do a nice kind of just very natural, light, kind of almost no makeup look. But yeah, so I'm gonna start out with, I have this little sample of the Tarte Quench Primer. I got it, I think, in an Ipsy bag, but I'm just going to put just a little bit here before going in with another primer that I also picked up. So this one is really nice and like light and refreshing, but I do find that it helps a little bit with the longevity of my makeup because it's kind of a like gel consistency, so it does get a little bit like sticky, almost like tacky, that kind of feeling of like it's really gonna grip everything into place and kind of hold it there throughout the day. And I really like it with my dry skin. It is definitely something that I'm going to consider repurchasing like the full size of once I'm out of this one. So as for new products, I picked up the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, which a lot of people have been talking about and saying that it's a dupe for the Tatcha Silk Canvas. I have used all of these products a couple of times over the last couple of weeks just to kind of make sure that I knew how I really felt about them before I talked about them. And I would say that that's a fairly accurate statement, that the e.l.f. one is almost exactly like the Tatcha one. I know the Tatcha one is supposed to have like environmental barriers for your skin, so it's supposed to help kind of keep all the bad gunk out, but I don't know, you know, how scientifically based that is. And I think the e.l.f. one is just supposed to help with like the longevity of your makeup, so I'm not really sure. I've just been using this mostly in the T-zone as kind of a pore minimizer. It doesn't do as good of a job minimizing pores as my Revlon one that I love. And then I've been just doing just a little bit kind of on the rest of my face as well, just to kind of act again as that like pore filling, kind of smoothing type of a primer. Okay, the foundation that I'm going to go in with is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Dewy version. So they originally had a Photo Focus foundation that was just like a more matte finish, and I've never tried that on my skin, but my sister had it, and so I've tried it like doing makeup on other people, and I like it. It has really good coverage, but I just never gravitated towards it because I felt like on my dry skin it probably wouldn't look good because it's so matte. But this has like a little spatula applicator, and I just will typically just swipe it directly onto my face. I do find that this doesn't have quite as much coverage as the matte one, but the coverage is honestly really good as well, and it's not any more than I would ever want because I don't usually go for a super full coverage look. I'm more into like a medium coverage foundation, or even just a like light tinted moisturizer. I will say the packaging on this gets a little bit messy just because the applicator can tend to pull out like a ton of product at once, but it's also like a $6 foundation and I got it on sale, so it was even cheaper than that. I also picked up some new sponges. This one's the one by Real Techniques. It has a nice flat side, which I really like. And then I got the one from Dose of Colors as well. It has a really nice like pointed tip and then also a nice big round flat side as well. I'm gonna do the Dose of Colors one here. I've been really liking that one. It's really soft and squishy, and that's kind of what I prefer in a sponge. The Real Techniques ones are a little bit more dense versus the soft and squishy and bouncy, like marshmallow you feel. I do find that you do lose a little bit of coverage with a sponge, but I prefer the kind of finish that it gives with this foundation, and it still gives plenty of coverage, so it's not really kind of a game changer for me. I do find it builds up fairly well as well, so if you would want to go in like with a second layer anywhere that you feel like you do need more coverage, we'll do a little bit here on the side of my face just to kind of show you that it does build up a little, and we'll do a little bit right there. So you do get a little bit more coverage. It's not like, again, crazy buildable to like full coverage, but I think for a dewier finish anyways, that's, most people don't aim for that like full super thick coverage. So I am perfectly happy with this. It also lasts really well on my skin. I've been wearing this one, and then I also got the Dose of Colors foundation, which I'm going to do another video on. And I've been wearing those two basically non-stop since I got them, and they're both really good. They're just definitely like very different foundations. Okay, so I also picked up 2 new concealers. So I got the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I never tried the original just because it was supposed to be more matte, and that's not something that I ever really go for in a concealer. Matte concealers really make my under eyes, I feel like, look really like dry and crusty, and I hate that look. And then I also picked up the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser Concealer. I tried this a long time ago, and they didn't have a shade that was like light enough for my under eyes. And since then they've released a bunch of new shades, so I did pick up another one of these just to try it out again, and we're gonna use this one underneath my eyes. It has a little like sponge applicator, and you can turn it to get the product out, and then just okay, I typically apply it just right onto my face from there, and then we'll use this just to highlight the center of the face a little bit as well. And then we're gonna spot conceal with the e.l.f. one. Not that I need a ton of extra coverage, because that foundation does a fairly good job of covering most of my breakouts. This is the lightest shade that the e.l.f. concealer comes in, and I definitely find that it is a little bit dark for like the brightening effect under my eyes, which I don't necessarily need every day, but I enjoy the look of that. So I'm just gonna press this in with my brush. They both work really well with a sponge too. I just have been kind of like jumping back and forth between a brush and a sponge, just depending on kind of what I feel like. And I'm just blending out that darker shade on these spots right now. And then for the lighter shade, I'm just kind of buffing it in circular motions. And then I'm just going to take my sponge and kind of press over everything just to make sure everything is nice and blended onto my face. I don't use a sponge every day. I feel like it takes a little bit longer to kind of blend everything in, and then I also have to like take the time to go wet the sponge. But since I have more time right now, I've really been enjoying using a sponge again, and it's been a while since I've really like been into using sponges. really just focusing here around like the corners and the creases in my face, just to make sure everything is like nice and blended out. All right, I didn't pick up a new like contour or bronzer, so we're gonna use the Wet n Wild makeup sticks, the contour versions, and then I'm gonna contour with Call Me Maple, and then Oaks on You for the bronzing shade. So we're just gonna start with the contour shade, and then we'll go back in with a little bit to bronze everything up. It's not really necessary to use both shades, but I just have been liking the way that they look together recently, so. And then I've either been using my sponge or my Duo Fiber brush to blend them out. I do like the Real Techniques sponge for blending these out because it is a little bit more dense, so I find that it blends the like cream contours and those types of products a little bit better. All right, and then the lighter shade Oaks on You to bronze up my face, and then I just do little dots of that because this color is very warm and very like orange toned, so I don't want to do too much of it because it makes me look Oompa Loompa-y, and that's just not a look that I like to go for, so just gonna blend this out with my brush. I'm taking a little bit just like right behind my ear so that there's not a like stark line of like where my contour stops. It just makes it look a little bit more natural. I'm just gonna take my sponge again and just make sure everything is blended in. And then taking the sponge that I used for my foundation and concealer, and I'm just running it right along the line under my jaw just to make sure that it's a nice like sharp line, and then just blending over it a little bit to make sure it's not too harsh. I'm gonna add a little bit more concealer to this blemish here. I got a new ColourPop Super Shock blush, and I love these so much. I have another one, the shade Drop of a Hat, I believe is what it's called, and this one is called Prenup. It's a little bit more of a stiff formula, so I really do like warming it up with my finger, which I already did, but I find that going directly into it with a sponge for this one in particular, or like a Duo Fiber brush, just doesn't work as well. So just put a little bit onto my cheek on both sides here. And then I do like blending this one in particular out with my Duo Fiber brush. I have tried the sponge and I don't know, I just like, I don't find that it works with this one, and I don't know if it's because it's a more like stiff formula that it just isn't my favorite, but I just like the way that it looks with my brush, so. I also use my fingers for it too. I just like the brush gives me a little bit more precision versus my fingers are just like really quick and easy and I can just like throw it on and be done. And then I haven't picked up a new highlighter, so I've been using the, again, more ColourPop Super Shock Cheeks, and the shades that I've been using the most, and I've kind of been using these together and also separately, so it just kind of depends on the day, are Lunch Money, which is a nice like gold like white gold kind of a shade, and it's a little bit more natural, so it looks more like you're just kind of a little bit like sweaty naturally, and just the way that it like hits the sun. And then there's Flexitarian, which is just like a super reflective like silvery shade, and this one looks like you are like actually glowing. So what I've been doing is taking Lunch Money, and I always use my fingers to apply these, and then just tapping it everywhere that I would do my highlighter. So I'm going to do that first. And then I've been taking Flexitarian, the more reflective of the two, and just popping that just in the very like center of my nose. And then just a little bit right here. So like the places that we want to be like extra reflective. And then just like the tips of my cheekbones here. And then just making sure to really kind of blend them together with my finger. And then right on my Cupid's bow as well. Because I personally like a really reflective upper lip. I think it makes it look more plump without having to like overline your lips, because I just always find that it just doesn't work for me. And I don't know if it's because my skin is so fair that it just never looks right, but I hate the way that it looks. I'm just taking the extra on the tip of my nose because I always love when my nose is extra glowy and reflective. Specifically just the tip there too. Okay. And then I'm just gonna take my sponge and tap out any creases that might have happened on my eye. And then just tap over the highlighter and the cheek products just to make sure, again, everything is... Okay, sorry, my camera cut off. I was just saying that I've been taking Flexitarian in the higher points of my face and just really like intensifying that glow. And then I also said that I picked up a new Maybelline Fit Me powder. This has been my go-to powder for a long time. I have probably repurchased this at least 5 times, if not more. But then I just kind of set my face down with that. Nothing really too exciting that you missed, so. I'm just finishing setting up the face. Setting down the face. Words. Okay. I picked up a new eyebrow pencil because I had run out of my favorite one. And this one was recommended by one of my favorite YouTubers. She raves about this, and it was on sale. So normally, this is the LA Girl Shady Slim Brow Pencil, and normally it's like $5 or less than that, and it was on sale for like $2. So I picked up a couple of these because I usually use the ColourPop one, and that's about $6. So I figured get a couple, and I'm not super picky about brow pencils, so I'll use it regardless. So to get 3 brow pencils for $6, pretty good deal. So this shade in particular is soft brown. I also picked up a darker one. Let's see, I have it right here, in medium brown. I like both colors. I think the soft brown is a really good shade match for like this, like kind of an everyday, like more like light kind of a makeup look. So I'm gonna do my eyebrows really quick. We're just gonna speed through them. So I was actually like cleaning off the part right here because it always gets gross from like my foundation and stuff, and I just like pulled half of the pencil out. It's fine. Stuck it back in there. It still works. I mean, I feel like you can't really complain for $2. Like, it is what it is. It's fine. I don't have a new brow gel, so I'm just using my ColourPop one. It's one of my favorites, especially for like everyday. For more like glam or like night out or like something that I need my makeup to last a little bit longer, I like something that's a little more hairspray-y. Like the Anastasia gel is one of my absolute favorites. But for an everyday, I don't mind. Like, this is a nice like soft hold. It looks super natural, and then again it like has fibers in it, so it kind of makes your brows look more full. So if you do have more sparse brow hairs than I do, this might be a really good option for you. All right. Let's see. Okay, eyeshadow. I am so excited about these. I have heard so many people like raving about them, and I wanted to see what all the hype was about because these from e.l.f. are $3. $3 for 4 shades of eyeshadow, and I thought to myself, it can't be that good. Like, it's $3. They're so good. I have not been able to shut up about these, like, to my friends since I got them. So you need to get these. They come in like 6 different shades. I picked up 2 of them, the 2 that I thought that I would wear the most, and I highly, highly recommend these 2 in particular. But I've watched some videos like on the other shades, and I'm thinking about picking up some of those. There's just more like colorful shades, and I'm not usually into a bunch of color. But there is a more like berry toned one and a warmer toned one that's like a pumpkin spice kind of inspired, and I think those 2 are probably the other 2 that I would pick up out of these, like the selection that they offer. These are so good. So I've been using them like both on their own and, let me open them so they're less reflective, on their own and together, and I think no matter what, like, you cannot make a bad eye look with these. So this is the Cream and Sugar quad. I accidentally dug my nail into this one. But this is just a nice like everyday neutral one. I thought that the shimmers were gonna be too gold for me, but this shimmer actually ends up looking a little bit more like white, especially if you apply it lightly and not like really packing it on. So beautiful. And then this speaks to my heart. These are my colors, these are my shades. This is what I wear every day. So I have not been able to put this down, and this is the Rosewater quad. So we're gonna start, I'm gonna use a little bit of both of them today just so you can kind of see like the color stories. We're gonna start with the Rosewater one, and I'm gonna go in with this kind of like mauve taupe shade right here. And I'm just picking it up on a big fluffy brush and going into the crease with this one. So just lightly building this up. I've also worn this just on the lid and in the crease, like used a fluffy brush to dust it all over my lid, and then a more dense brush in my crease. And it is a beautiful, just like one and done eyeshadow, especially if you have fair skin like me. If you're a lot deeper than me, you might have trouble like with this shade showing up as much as it does on my eyes. But I think that because they are nice and buildable, like you can still get color payout from it. I do find that they do take a little bit of time to build up, but I kind of like that in an eyeshadow because I don't like to like go in and then just everything is like too much. I would rather take my time building it up, blending it out, making sure that it's more seamless looking, and then getting the color payoff that I want gradually. Okay. I'm also, while we're here, gonna take my pencil brush and just take that along my lower lash line as well. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit more of a densely packed brush, and I am going to take the brown shade here from the Cream and Sugar Quad, and I'm just going to pack this on the outer corner. And I find that this brown is not too warm. I really like more cool or neutral tone browns, or just cool and neutral tone colors in general. And this one is just so perfect. I literally like just don't have words. I will say though, this one is a little bit more patchy than like the lighter shades, but once you build it up and really like get the color placed where you want it, I like to then go back in with my fluffy brush and kind of blend it out, and then it's fine. So again, I think it's just a matter of it takes a little bit more time to kind of build up versus it really being patchy, but could also be user error. I'm not really a makeup artist, I just, you know. So, I think especially for $3 though, this is just incredible. I'm gonna pick up just a little bit more of that mauve shade just to blend everything out. Alright, I'm gonna go in with the light shimmer here, just with my finger. Look how reflective that is. That's just crazy to me. And I'm just going to place that on my eyelid. And I'm going just until I hit that darker shade with the actual eyeshadow, and then I'm taking my clean ring finger and just kind of blending out the edges so that it's not covering that darker shade, but it's also just a nice like gradient. Ugh, that is so pretty. I can't believe that these $3 eyeshadows perform as well as some of my like higher end palettes that I spent, you know, $40, $50 on. Okay. And I still had eyeshadow left over on my, you can kind of see it there. It's hard to see with the light coming in the window. But it just like, you only need a tiny bit of that shimmer shade. So I'm gonna take the gold, like the lighter gold color that's in here, and I'm going to just tap that on the inner half of the lid just for an extra added bit of more sparkle. And you can also like make these a little bit more sheer if you're not into the super blingy glittery kind of a look. I wore just the like mauve shade from here, the matte mauve shade, and then this light gold shimmer the other day, and it just looked so nice. Like my lids looked like wet and glossy, but without being like too much, and it was just stunning. Alright, so now that I have everything kind of nice and blended with my finger, I'm going to take that fluffy brush again and just go back through the crease one more time. I also don't find that these create like a crazy amount of fallout on my eyes. I mean a little bit because it's a glitter shadow, but nothing like, again, some of the even high-end palettes that I have. Like, I don't know, it's crazy. I'm gonna take my little baby highlighter brush here now, and then I'm gonna go back in with Flexitarian. And I find that this Super Shock shadow actually picks up well on a brush. Not all of them do. Some of them struggle a little bit more than others. But I'm just gonna really swirl my little brush in there, and then I'm gonna go in to my inner corner with that. So just a really, really bright kind of a look, and just to really open everything up and brighten it up. And then I'm gonna take the leftover and dust that on my brow bone. I don't want to dip back in for my brow bone because I don't want all of the attention to be right there. I prefer the like super bright part to be really in my inner corner. But if you like a really nice highlighted brow bone, go for it. You do you. There are no rules in makeup. Alright, before I have any mascara on, I'm going to set my face, just so that my mascara doesn't transfer, so. This foundation is nice and dewy, so I probably really didn't use that much, but it's fine. Oh, and that was my Pretty Fresh setting spray that I, again, don't shut up about ever, so. Let's see. I'm just gonna take my sponge and just, again, tap over everything. I'm also gonna actually add a little bit of that dark brown shade to my lower lash line. Just a little bit. Just to the outer corner. For just a little bit of added dimension. Okay. And then I picked up, this is another repurchase for me, I just haven't had it in a while. The Essence Lash Princess mascara. This one's in the green tube. They make like 4 different colors. I also have the blue one, which is waterproof. I've tried the purple one before, and there's like a pink coral too, and they're all awesome. This one I find, they call this one the False Lash Effect Mascara, and it just adds crazy insane volume to your eyelashes. I'm just gonna take my spoolie and brush out my lashes. I find that this like just separates them a little bit better before I go in with mascara. Look at that. That is one coat. That is crazy. I don't know. Madness. This, although I still love my Tarte mascara, this is always, I forget how much I love this one too. And this is like $5. $5! It's insane. And all 4 of them, you can't go wrong with like any of the colored tubes. I think the purple one or the pink one, I can't really remember. One of those is like adding volume, so if you like to have volume and a ton of length, you can pair those together, which I used to do literally all the time, and it looked like I was actually wearing like false lashes, which I never do because I think they're such a pain to apply. And they're just like such high maintenance. So I actually recently got rid of all of my fake lashes. The only time I like ever actually wore them was in like shows and stuff, just to make sure that my eyelashes would really like kind of pop, but I hate putting them on. I'm just going in with a second coat here. Okay, there you go. That's just insane. I'm gonna do the other eye really quick. Also also just got mascara on my eye, so I'm gonna let that dry for just a second while I do my lips, and then we'll come back. So I picked up 2 new lip glosses recently. The first one's the Dose of Colors lip gloss in Made You Blush. Love this. I love both of them really, but this one is a color that's really similar to my lips, but it matches almost identically my favorite lip liner, which is from ColourPop, and it's Aquarius. So sometimes I'll go in with the lip liner and then the gloss. Other days I'll just go in with the gloss. It doesn't really make a difference, but the lip liner I do find like adds a little bit of longevity because it is a gloss. It's not meant to like stay for forever, but yeah. And then I've been putting in the center of that combination, this is the Buxom Full On Lip Cream, I think that's what it's called, yeah. And then this is the shade White Russian. This is a plumping gloss, so if you don't like that tingly feeling, definitely don't go for this, but it just smells so good too. Yeah, I've heard about these like for years and years and years, and I've just never bit the bullet because they're kind of expensive for a lip gloss. But I got it during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale, so I got it for half off of its original price, and it is so good. I understand now why people like rave about it. So I'm just getting the mascara off of my eye after I got it literally everywhere. I literally like can't do my makeup without like making a mess. It's fine. Okay, I'm gonna add just a little bit more mascara to the ends here of these lashes. There we go. Alright, so I'm gonna do it without the lip liner just so that you can see what it looks like by itself, because the pigment on the Dose of Colors gloss, which I've also heard great things about for a long time, but it's insane. Like, I don't know if you can really tell on camera because it is literally like the color of my lips, because my lips are fairly pigmented. It also has this really interesting like paddle shaped applicator, and it's super flexible too, so it like will bend a little bit to kind of fit the curve of your lips. So I'm just gonna swatch a little bit of it just so you can see like really how pigmented it is. So, and that's a gloss, like it's just crazy. Yeah, and I find that it lasts a really long time for being a lip gloss too. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of White Russian on my hand because I, again, hate mixing like lip glosses and stuff. Just, it always messes with the color of it and the consistency. And then I'm just gonna tap it mostly in the middle of my lips. And then just kind of blend it in. That one feels super like minty and cooling and refreshing when you put it on. It's such a nice feeling. I'm just blending everything in more. Alright, so this is the completed look. This has been my kind of go-to everyday kind of makeup. I have really not been switching it up much at all the last few days. I just, I don't know. Really been feeling like in that rut, in that routine. So, yeah, I mean, nothing really all that exciting, but here it is. So I think this is perfect for right now. Like, a lot of us are not feeling like wearing a ton of makeup. So this is kind of a nice, like, natural look. You could even replace the foundation with the, like, with a tinted moisturizer or something if you want something a little bit more lightweight. And with the eyeshadows, you could go, you know, even lighter. You don't have to do the darker shade in the outer corner, or you could use less of it. It's just, all of it is, you know, kind of all just subject to be played with. When I'm looking for a more natural day too, I usually skip the Flexitarian highlighter, so a little bit less in, you know, the center of my face as far as glowiness. But yeah, this is it. This is what I've been doing almost every day for the last, like, week at least, maybe almost 2 weeks now. But that is all I have for you guys today. So definitely be sure to leave a comment and like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.